I was called to a room to deliver a lady, and I entered the room. She was in bed, of course, in labour, established labour, and her husband was sat with her. So I greeted them, and as my back was turned to them, I could hear them whispering. And when I turned around, ready to do the delivery, the husband said to me, "Do not touch my wife." Well, that shocked me. I said, "Pardon?" He said, "I don't want you to touch my wife. We've come over here to get away from the likes of you. And here you are wanting to put your black hands on my wife." I've always wanted to be a midwife, even when I was young in the Caribbean. When I first came to this country, I lived in Hampshire. That's well over 50 years ago. And Hampshire was all white people. And I felt no prejudice. I felt no racism. People invited me everywhere. I ate in people's houses. They took me home. They took me places. But then I moved up to Leeds, north, and boom, this is where I saw racism. This is where I felt racism. And I just could not understand it. And even today, I see racism hasn't improved. In some pockets, it's worse. And that makes me sad. One day, I went to a home to do a postnatal visit. The door opened, a gentleman stood at the door, and he said, "I don't want the likes of you in here." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I don't want any black people in my house." I said, "What have you got against black people?" His response was, "They come over here and take all our jobs." I said, "Did you want to be a midwife then?" He said, "No, but I'm talking about black people in general, and I'm not letting you in." Then I spotted his wife, and I shouted at her, "Please ask your husband to let me in, because I need to have a look at your baby." And with tears in her eyes, she asked him to move away from the door so I could come into the house. The population should be more educated to black people. We are no different. The color of our skin doesn't matter. I just want to say that we're all human. We're all one race. Wherever racism is, people should be bold enough to speak out against it, regardless of the consequences.